Whenever I go into the public transit, it's as quite quiet as a funeral procession. No one is talking to each other. No one is aware of their surroundings. People hardly make any eye contact with each other. Eh, and not only is that dangerous because there's so many mentally disturbed people who are worthy of being at least being aware of, especially for the women. It's a sign of a distracted society, a society that is caving in to this entity of virtual existence that is social media. So we are slowly shutting off parts of our minds and activating others to the point of overstimulation. As in, I feel like the part of the brain that is scrolling, reacting to pictures, reacting to stimulation, reacting to funny cat videos, reacting to car crashes, reacting to a man on a climbing a building, reacting to shock and horror. That part of the brain that is supposed to be stimulated maybe once or twice a week or after a couple of days is being stimulated every minute. And that has to either desensitize you to uh to normal reaction, or it's overstimulated to the point of being dull. Like you've used a knife, a sharp knife, so many times, it's become dull. And once a part of the mind gets dull, I feel like it shuts down. And when it shuts down, you are missing a part of life that is very important. You are experiencing life without a sharp knife. You're experiencing life without really, you're going through life without all your senses. So the awe, the the joy that is supposed to be there when you see the ocean for the first time, the joy that is supposed to be there when you see wildlife for the first time, it's it won't be as good because you've already desensitized those parts of the brain. Now, I'm no neuroscientist or some expert on the brain, but what I'm seeing is common sense, and it's partly also personal experience. I've noticed that some of the things that I was hoping to do now don't seem so interesting. For instance, I've wanted to go skydiving for a long time. I wanted try it, to try for the thrill. But recently, I don't know. It feels like okay, I could do it if I. Now I'm making a lot of excuses. I'm like, oh no, it's too expensive. I don't want to do it. It's too dangerous. Do I really need to do it? Is it something that is that important to me? Your brain is making up these stories because um, a part of it is has been the part that is responsible for emotion, the part that sends out endorphins, sends out motivation hormones, that sparks up when an idea comes up, is now not so sparked up, probably because I've been seeing a lot of videos of skydiving and people and all those things. So I've experienced it in a way. So what is happening with people is people are experiencing life virtually. They are Life virtually is extreme. Life virtually is so stimulating that you don't want to experience life in real life. So this is particularly concerning for the young generation because if you're young, that's the time of your life when you're supposed to be backpacking, if you have money, doing this and that, experiencing, using your fresh, healthy body to travel, to experience, to have real experiences, not virtual experiences like what we're seeing with the video game generation. The people who are stuck onto their phones, the people who have no IRL goals. Now, of course, there are people who are coming out of that conundrum, and I think uh, sometimes the problem is exaggerated, but I see it developing into something really bad within the next coming 10 years because this incentivization of rage, of extreme content, is making the situation worse. Social media has an incentive to keep you scrolling. That's what number one you have to know. The big multi-billion-dollar companies like Google, Facebook, uh, X are reliant, like have a, an existential hold, an existential need to keep the population scrolling. If the population stops scrolling, those companies stop having money. That's a fact because they are reliant on advertising, they are reliant on you having your eyes glued onto your screen. Now, I've started to practice something I call intentional scrolling. I try as much as possible. I'm in the beginning phase, and I'll probably be logging this onto. I'll probably be doing another video to explain how it's going. Intentional scrolling is picking up your phone intentionally with the goal, with the express goal of knowing what exactly you want from the phone. Now, this is important because a lot of people just pick up the phone out of reflex. A lot of people pick up the phone out of habit because you are used to your muscles have have picked up the phone a million times for that very reason, to the point that you do not know why you picked up the phone. So now, to break that habit, you have to be intentional. You have to know, ask yourself, okay, I'm picking up the phone. I can see my hand is moving towards the phone. What am I going to look for in the phone? Did I hear a sound? Did I hear a notification? Am I having a question in my mind that I want answered by Google or ChatGPT? Is there what of what concern, of what is the priority status of this request in my mind? Why am I is how important is it for me to pick up the phone at this very moment? And is it something I can solve mentally by thinking? Because remember, you still have the most important computer of all, which is a million times more expensive, a million times better in some ways than your phone, and a million times more important than your phone. And you can still use it. A lot of people forget that their brains can do the things that they're asking the computer for. And that's a problem in itself because you're dulling your brain if you want the phone to think for you every time. So if you do intentional scrolling, you are putting yourself accountable for every scroll that you do, every click that you do, because you're fighting against the machine, you're fighting against the system. The system is fighting for your attention and you are not giving it if you do intentional scrolling, because you are now having to bargain with the system for your attention. There has to be an important reason why I'm going to click on that page. There has to be an important reason why I'm going to defeat the FOMO, the fear of missing out, if I click on a cat video or some person bubbling on the internet about some political theory, or someone just spewing nonsense on the internet because they think they're funny. So I've found that most of the time, if I click on something that hooked me for that sparked my interest, it's useless most of the time. It's something that's garbage. It's slop. So intentional scrolling, you are guarding your mind. You're now becoming a sentry for your eyes, for your brain. You're now having the intent of siphoning the information that is going to enter your mind. So you're becoming almost like one of those, you're becoming an Amish. So in Amish, I think those Amish people don't, I don't know if they have phones, but they don't have electronics. And I'm pretty sure they don't have this scrolling problem amongst their midst because they guard intentionally what comes into their mind. Now, it's obvious you have built up these patterns over more than a decade for a lot of people because the smartphone has been there for close to 20 years now. So it's not going to be easy to break these patterns, but you have to be intentional and know that you are attempting to break the patterns. Now, I would suggest to, because you are going to fail, if you do it, you will fail. I would suggest keeping a diary, and the diary should be actually not a digital diary because we're trying to avoid the phone. Should be a paper diary, and that diary you write down all the failures that you experienced in intentional score, in trying to be intentional in your scrolling for the day every night. Do that for 1 month, and then you will see what will happen. Because the point is not to be perfect when you're scrolling intentionally. The point is to take control of your mind. It's to have, you're now a manager, it's like you have an additional uh, guard in place to monitor yourself, because a lot of scrolling that happens is unmonitored. It's just you succumbing to your to your inner bitch. You're 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 failing to discipline yourself. So when you keep the diary, there is a physical evidence for you, for your failures. There's physical evidence for your effort as well, for your success, and that holds you accountable physically to 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 improving, to seeing your progress. And another thing that can happen is that you would want to put into place is to purchase a band. And I'm thinking of I don't know, maybe this idea has been done already. I'm thinking of creating a band around my thumb, a visible band around my thumb, not the wristband, but along the thumb, like an elastic band, and write down a reminder to not scroll mindlessly. I would suggest something funny, or something which is like an inside joke to you, or something that is emotional, like a small picture, or if you have a kid, the face of your kid right there. Maybe you can stick it, use a tape to stick it there, and something. There is always something that will jog your mind. Every time you scroll, you look at it and you're like, okay, intentional scrolling. Well, maybe it will help. It's worth a try. It's worth a try than just keeping scrolling your life away.